Hi guys, I'm Josh and welcome to Love Shamanism. I'm Josh, I'm 25 years old and I'm from the UK. I've wanted to start this channel up for a little while now, and basically I'm going to be teaching you guys about spirituality, shamanism, medicine, and just living life in a more harmonious, sort of spirit-oriented manner really, which is kind of how I'm trying to live my life. So I guess my journey started on the spiritual path, whatever you want to call it, about 5 years ago, I guess. I mean, we're always on the path, and for those living a spiritual life, you're always that way inclined. But I guess, yeah, about 5 years ago, I first took psychedelics, which kind of opened up my worldview, if you will. As a child, I guess I was always quite sentimental. That kind of is how it manifested itself from an early age. But I never found myself talking to spirits or, delving into kind of spiritual weird stuff as a kid. It never really manifested itself in that way. But as I grew older, I kind of became a bit more sensitive and aware of these sorts of things. Yeah, it was around the age of 19 I had my first psychedelic experience, and this really sort of opened up my eyes to more than the reality that we see in front of us kind of thing. This kind of got me interested more in all this kind of esoteric and consciousness related things. I started waking up and realising who I am. At the age of 20, I had my first ever magic mushroom experience in Amsterdam. This was very important. I feel like this was kind of the fork in the path that kind of led me down the righteous path, if you will. It showed me a deeper awareness of the inner peace that I could hold inside me, as everyone can. Coming from a place of being, scatter-minded teenager, this was like a new dimension of whoa. I hadn't felt anything close to this deep inner I'm okay-ness before. So leading from that point of this deep reverence for just, I didn't even know what at the time. After this experience, in the afterglow of it all, this led me on to wanting to recreate and recapture that experience. I knew there was this deeper spiritual feeling of peace and vibes on the inside kind of thing. That led me to meditation, which for those of you who meditate will know that it's just the most incredible and useful tool anyone could have in their life. Like, it easily makes my life 100 times better if I manage to keep up the practice. So it was from this experience of wanting to recreate those feelings, it led me to meditation. Wanting to meditate and obviously looking online at all these different resources led me to read a little bit about this, a little bit about that. I tried to work with crystals, kind of interested in all these new age and esoteric concepts. I was getting into the whole consciousness movement, spirituality. Psychedelics played a big part in my journey at that point of just exploration and oh my god, so spiritual, man kind of thing. At the age of 21, I attended Boom Festival, which for those who haven't been, please go. It is easily the most beautiful place in the world. One of, anyway, of course. Maybe it's not for everyone, but for me it was just so magical and eye-opening, and that really opened me up to who I am, as it allowed me to express my spiritual side openly in front of loads of other people who were on a very similar wavelength to me. Fully restored my faith in humanity kind of thing. So that was a big part of my spiritual journey, realising it helped me ground it, I guess. It helped me realise it was real, being able to just lay on the floor and meditate on a dance floor, and it helped me connect to who I am massively, definitely. So yeah, that was great. Interested in all these spiritual concepts, learning about meditation and healing and blah 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 blah. Open to it, not very particularly super delved into it. I was on the fence. So it was around the age of 22, which coincidentally is a very synchronistic spiritual number for me nowadays, so it's no surprise to me now. But yeah, it was around this time that I started to go through
the dark night of the soul,
and kind of spiritual awakening process had begun, which, again, if you've ever been through a spiritual awakening, you will know that it's very unpleasant. As magical and mystical as it sounds, it isn't, because it forces you to face that which no longer serves you, which when you go from A to B, it may take a year or two or more. There's always a point where you kind of cross over or start to, all this stuff gets brought to the surface from this life, past life. Everything becomes super there for you to deal with, because it's no way but forward, you know. At the age of 22, this started to happen. I'd always had a kind of, not love-hate relationship with cannabis, but a kind of on-off relationship with cannabis. I smoked it a lot as a teenager with friends socially, but never found a deeper connection with it until around the age of, shortly after Boom Festival, I guess, where maybe just before, where I'd started smoking on my own, having a deeper connection to myself and the universe and the plant. This kind of, after a while of not heavy use on my own, but more than normal, accelerated the process and made it maybe kickstart it / made it worse, where I just went completely insane. So it felt like, maybe not psychotic, completely insane, but I was a very happy-go-lucky, chill, spiritual man, like, whoa, hippie shit. I was chilling, I was loving life, and then all of a sudden, that all got turned on its head. Like, what the hell is going on? Who am I? What am I? Why do I feel this way? Oh my god, what's this? I don't want that. All this just shit in my brain going off on one, and not knowing who I am, and feeling borderline depressed, and what am I doing here? What's the fucking point? So, as I'd gone from hippie man loving life to who the fuck am I? What is this? I kind of wanted to find out why and how I could remedy it, because, I'm always trying to fix things, which isn't the best approach always, but this led me to then delve into the healing world. I was interested in spirituality, I wanted to help myself, probably couldn't afford a therapist. I'd heard of things like Reiki and crystals and blah 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 blah, but never bothered looking into them too deeply because I was just cool. So now I had a reason to really look into it. Okay, these things help people, I need help, let me try this, let me try that, let me try this. It was around a little while into this dark night of the soul. I'd been to a Reiki drum evening session, and then through this dark night of the soul, went to my wonderful Reiki teacher and started receiving healing from her, which, even after one session, my dark thoughts and craziness in my head just subsided. So I was like, okay, something's going on here, now I'm okay. That kind of opened up my world in the sense that it's like, okay, this works kind of thing, and eventually was taught level 1 Usui Reiki from my teacher. And as she often says, this acted as a springboard, where opening up to universal healing energy, which is what Reiki is, which I'll do a video on at some point. When you become attuned to Reiki, this kind of raises your vibration massively, opens you up to the sensitivity of energy. Whoa, there's all this stuff around me that wasn't there before. What's going on? Adding to the craziness that I was already feeling. But in the long run, it was for the greater good. So yeah, I started practicing Reiki on myself, and then just like on my mum and my friends, and started to just sort of delve into that and realise that working with energy is a thing, really. So that was cool. That, like I said, raised my vibration. It springboarded me into working with different energies, realising I could give Reiki to crystals and water, so you can add consciousness to water, okay, blah blah blah. This opened up a lot for me, slowly started to have more experiences with healing, where spirit would come through very minute ways. Giving someone healing and feeling, was something outside of the realm of psychedelics, which is the only way I'd experienced these kind of experiences before. Yeah, so I was giving people healing, I was at home in a job I didn't really like. This carried on for a while, which then eventually led up to the point, one of the most important experiences of my life, where at the age of 23 I went on my first backpacking adventure. So for 7 months I travelled around Mexico, Peru and Chile, which was just absolutely incredible. If you've ever travelled, then you know that it's just, nothing beats it. That changed my life completely. Everything came up at one time or the other, and you just get to go off and be yourself and find out who you are and just really work shit out. It was amazing. Met some amazing people, did some amazing stuff, helped a lot of things come to light. This allowed me to just sit with who I was on my own in the world, you know. This really allowed me to gain a lot of knowledge on who I am. During this trip in Peru was probably, still to this day, the most, one of maybe joint first, most important experience of my entire life, which was where I went to my first ayahuasca retreat in the jungles just outside Iquitos in Peru, northern Peru. And yeah, safe to say that was easily the most incredible thing I've ever done ever. Just completely changed my entire life. I can't even put it into words how much it's changed my life. For those of you who work with the medicine, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, again, I will release a video about this at a later date. But yeah, ayahuasca just really opened me up to just so many different realities that I was just like, oh yeah. You know, as if all this stuff was inside me and I knew it all anyway, but it just really awakened me, like, to the highest degree possible. There was a lot of kind of just ridiculous vibes going through me in those 2 weeks in the jungle. It was a very powerful spiritual awakening. I felt like the whole 18 months preceding all made sense, and that my true nature had evolved outwardly to what you see in front of you, so to speak. I guess it was a very powerful shamanic awakening for me. I was very much then centered in, okay, there's a reason why I've always been interested in this stuff. This is it. Maybe not ayahuasca specifically. At the time I did want to go strictly on that path, but I now know there's a lot wider, you know, variety out there. So yeah, that showed me who I really am and what I'm really to do with this stuff, you know, the spiritual side of myself. She showed me a lot of things that are to do with my kind of vibe in the world and how to work with it, I'd say. This just completely transformed my worldview. It opened me up to so many things and just completely evolved my practice as a healer, made me more aware of just spirit, opening my third eye, showing me all the spiritual realms and shamanic stuff and energy. And I was on the fence for quite a while with spiritual stuff. I was interested in it. Some of it was cool. I found I was a healer, you know, it's cool. And then I drank ayahuasca and it's like, oh, spirits, man, whoa, raise your vibrations, dude. Like, I got it, you know. Took a very long while to come down from that, not in a bad way, but looking back, you get so, whoa, fucking Jesus is an alien, man. And then slowly realise, okay, there's like, you know, somewhere in the middle was cool. So that was cool. That was just life-changing. Another fork on the path, if not probably the most important one there ever is or ever will be, who knows. Probably not, but yeah, it was amazing. After this, I just, spent a long time in the Sacred Valley working with Wachuma, Kambo, different other medicines, and realised that I have a very strong affinity to plant medicine. This plays a massive part in my practice. It helps me through my life, which I'll be doing a series on plant medicine in this channel if you're interested in that kind of thing. Teaching you all about, you know, which medicines there are, what they do, how to use them. So yeah, working with medicine, loads of different sort of spiritual circles and workshops and travel and friends and life and mountains and oceans and the world. And the travel helped me to really cement in this kind of new shamanic awakening, if you will. Yeah, carrying on my travels, and eventually I went to a Vipassana retreat in Chile, which again, if you've been to one, you'll know how difficult and ridiculous it is, but this, you know, again, opened me up to spirit a lot more, made me realise who I am, showed me that you can get a lot more out of meditation and what that is to me. Eventually, I came home from my travels, I started working in a coffee shop and set up my own Reiki business on the side. So I was giving people healing, still working with medicine, still developing my spiritual side. I went to Boom Festival again. You know, I got with my lovely girlfriend Coco, which has been a journey in itself. That's taught me a lot about life and, you know, balance, how to work with loads of different areas of life kind of thing. For a while we were just chilling and working at home. Eventually we went to Australia last year, which wasn't really the best of travels, to be honest. It was good, don't get me wrong, I'm glad we went. We had a cool time at times, but Australia was probably just the kind of shadow work adventure, if you will, kind of thing. It was very challenging. I went through a very deep ascension process upon arrival, which I feel kind of opened me up a lot deeper to shamanic realities and kind of energies and spirits. And during this time, a lot of challenges were presented, a lot of deep, dark, inner stuff to be released, I think, for a lot of people last year. So there was kind of working with that side of things and, you know, wringing out the stuff you don't need. It was in Sydney that I attended a core shamanism workshop. That was great. I managed to learn to work with the drum, spirit guides, journeying, divination, so I've delved into core shamanism to a certain degree. So that helped me deepen my practice more. Since drinking ayahuasca, I would say that I've been practicing shamanism properly, or at least that's when the shamanism fully started. So for about 2.5 years now, I have kind of moved my practice into shamanism. You know, I delve into other areas as well, but shamanism is my main sort of practice spiritually and how I kind of have my worldview. It was only coming back from Australia that I feel like in the past 6 months I've really grounded down into that kind of shamanic lifestyle. I now feel like, especially lately with a lot more medicine work, grounding at home, that my role has presented itself a lot more kind of lucidly and very brightly towards me in the past few months, which I'm really grateful for. And there's a lot more light these days compared to the dark Australia times. But it's been a journey, light and dark's all one, we're all good. But nah, it's been good since coming home, a lot of light coming in, which is really cool. I'm finally starting to see who I am and what I mean to myself and my role in the cosmos, the world we live in, what I'm here for and why I want to do this stuff. So yeah, that kind of leads me up to the point of just this channel, really. So one of the things I wanted to do is start teaching you guys about all this shamanic stuff. Something I feel very strongly and deeply about. I'm really passionate about what I do. I feel like I've got plenty to offer and I'd love to share it with you guys. Like, I really want to teach everyone about this stuff because it really makes my life shine and I want to share that with everyone. So yeah, I've got a lot of things in the pipeline, you know, got a lot of ideas coming up, starting with this channel. So that's pretty much my story in a somewhat nutshell. It's probably been like 10-20 minutes now. So yeah, I hope you like it. I've got plenty more to come, plenty of lessons and cool shamanic stuff to share with you guys. So if you like what you see, if you think I'm a cool guy, then hit like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the channel. Peace.